Good afternoon, family. Good afternoon. How is everybody doing today's terrific Tuesday? Today, we're feeling good. I hope everybody's doing well. Happy New Year to those that I haven't spoken to. I hope everybody's start to their new year is going well. Mine definitely is. I know I haven't been on in a while, and I apologize for that. But I just wanted to drop this quick word. I'm gonna get off real quick. We're gonna start this new year off right. We're not gonna wait till the year is almost over before we start getting into gear. I wanted to wait until after January 1st or the first week of January because that's when a lot of people put their New Year's resolutions in, and I've noticed that's when most people are emotional about it. At the end of December, the beginning of January, you're emotionally attached to this new thing you want to do, and sometimes for most of us that emotion fizzles out. It fizzles out, and then we end up, not doing what we said. So I wanted to wait until all that emotion died down. But today I want to talk about failure, failure versus loss, and how failure is a mentality. Failure is definitely a mentality. It's not something that happens to us. It's a mentality. It's the way we think. And a lot of times in my lives, I'm very transparent about what it is I discuss, in my own life, because I know if it happens in my life, chances are it's happening in someone else's. And maybe, if I'm able to overcome something or something comes across in my life, I'm able to help somebody else. You know, there's nothing new under the sun. So a lot of people deal with similar situations and they just don't talk about it. So I try my best to be very transparent in my videos. But I wanted to just talk about something for a few minutes today. The other night, one of my sons, they wrestle. He wrestles, and he was talking about his wrestling match. And I hope this resonates with someone, with whatever you've gone through or what you're going through currently. We were talking about, the upcoming match. And he said something that kind of triggered my thought. He was talking about if he wins, then he goes to the next round, the championship round or the regional. He was talking about if he wins. And it stuck me when he said if. He said if he wins. And I said, what do you mean if you win? I mean, why you say if? He said, because there's a possibility that I might lose. And I said, why? Why would you lose? And he went on to discuss the possibilities of why he may win or lose. And when you're dealing with sports, I know there's always going to be a winner, there's always going to be a loser. I know that. But I was trying to get him to acknowledge his words before the match even happened. Before the match even happens, he acknowledged that there's a possibility that he may lose. And I said, no, you're not. So I told him about, I used this particular example and analogy to help him through it. Because, if the match hadn't happened yet, I know as a parent, yeah, you might win. You win some, you lose some. But I couldn't have him thinking about it before it actually happened. Because that's what happens a lot of times. Our nerves. We get in our nerves, we get anxious, our anxiety and our fear goes through the roof, and we talking ourselves out of something before it even happens. So I didn't need his mind on that. Yeah, is it possible? Yes, it is definitely possible we may lose. But there's no way we have a chance at winning if our mind is already on losing. So I need him to change his mind. So I said, hey, son, I'm always talking to my children about things even before they happen. So I told him, I said, remember a conversation we had some time ago about divorce and why most people, I said most, not all, most people get divorced. He said, yeah. I said, why do most people get a divorce? He said, because they make it an option. They allow it to be an option. I said, that's right. And when you allow something to be an option, you don't commit to one side or the other because you allowed it to be an option. So I said, when you don't allow it to be an option, it forces you to put your all into finding a way to accomplish that thing. He remembered the conversation, so I said, so if I say we're not getting a divorce, it forces us to try our damnedest, our hardest, to exhaust every single possibility out there to not allow that thing to happen. Now, yes, sure, you need the other person's cooperation and commitment too, but the mentality is, I'm not settling for a loss. That's the mentality. So I told him to bring that same concept to wrestling. If you allow yourself to think about the possibility of you losing, is all of you committed to winning? No, it's not. So I said, now, if you take the possibility of you losing off the table, now you have to use every piece of energy and effort you have into not allowing it. You have to commit to winning now. You got to find a way to win instead of leaving it up to chance that you might win. No, there is no might. There is no might. You're going to win. You're going to. Why? Because you fully committed to winning. There's not a piece of you sitting there thinking about the possibility of losing. That's the difference between the commitment. Is what are you committed to? Well, what if I lose? Now you're not fully committed because you're thinking about that other thing. You're not allowing. So when somebody says, did you put your best foot forward? Did you give your all? No, you didn't. I told him, you're not going to put your best foot forward. You're not going to give your all if a piece of you, I don't care if it's a little piece. I don't care if it's this much. You're not going to put your all into something that you have possible doubt in. I don't care how many people, other people believe you can win all the way. If there's a possible doubt within yourself, you're not going to give your all. So I needed to pass that on to somebody today. Because like I said, this is a new year. I know a lot of us say things like, we're not bringing that old stuff into the new year. Yeah, yes, you do. Yes, I do. Yes, we do. Because we're not really fully committed because we want to make sure, we want to guarantee that it's going to work. You are the guarantee. You are the guarantee that is whatever you want to have happen, happens. Nobody can give you a guarantee for your life. You're the only one that can do that. You go into a situation saying, you go to a job interview, well, I might not get this job. Why? Why aren't you going to get the job? Because if you're not going to get the job, why are you even going for the interview? Like, why are you walking into the interview thinking you're not going to get the job? That's counterproductive. That's counterproductive. And that is what causes us to not get what we're after more than anything else. True, the person who's hiring you may not say yes. But you walked in there with that vibe. So could it have been that that person recognized that vibe on you and they just follow suit? Well, he don't even believe he's going to get the job anyway, so why should I give it to him? You don't even believe you're going to win, so why should you win? That's a very interesting thing. That's a very interesting question or thought. If you don't believe you're going to get that thing, should you get it anyway? Should you get it if you don't believe? Because most of the time, if we don't believe something, we're not going to put forth the work, the effort. You got to believe it's all mental. Now, on the times that we have lost, did we fail? And that's the thing, that's the question we really have to ask ourselves. Because we've all won and we've lost. But is losing failure? Is that really what it is? So when I lost, did I fail? I don't believe losing is failure. I believe those are two different things. Because failure is what you think about yourself afterwards. Do you take ownership of it? Do you take the characteristics of it? Does your head go up? Does your head go down? Does your belief go up? Does your belief go down? What happens to you after the loss? How do you conduct yourself? When you fall, do you fall further down? Do you want to stay down there? Are you waiting on somebody else to come get you up? How do we handle the loss? That doesn't mean you're a failure. Stop taking the loss so personal that you think it's indication of who you are. That's the type of person you are. I'm a failure. All I do is lose. No, that's not true. Unless you want it to be. Does somebody else come and say you're a failure because you lost? Or do you say you're a failure because you lost? What is it that you think of yourself? So now, I don't want him to go win for me. I don't want him to say, hey, I'm going to go win one for my daddy. No, I don't want him to win for me. It's, what do you think about yourself? Because when you lose or when you don't get something right, you first thing you say is, I knew this was going to happen. You're talking yourself out of the win. You're talking yourself out of all the energy that you put in to this point. Don't do that to yourself. Your mentality is your choice. We don't have to sit there and think. We don't have to. Sometimes I think we stay in our pity parties too long. I'm not going to say pity parties are unnecessary or we don't have them, because we all have them. And I think that's kind of funny that we all have pity parties, but when somebody else is in a pity party, we don't acknowledge it. We don't. Oh, you shouldn't be in a pity party. Why? The same reason you're in one. We all in, but I think we stay there too long because we're looking for somebody else to care more than we do. We're looking for somebody to care more than we do. How do you handle the loss? I have some other boys, they play basketball. I told them, I said, hey, whether you make the shot or you miss the shot, go back and play defense. I've seen so many people win in life, and they sitting there gloating over the win, and life still goes on. You missing life because you're sitting there gloating that you shot the buzzer beater at the end of the game, and you sitting there saying, yeah, look at me. Life goes on. So you missing the next thing because you're sitting there gloating. And I've also seen people lose, and they missed the last shot, and now they sitting there beating themselves up because I missed the last shot. Oh my God, woe is me. Life is over. I missed the shot. No, go back. Life still go on even after you lose. The failure is when you give up on you. The failure is when you give up on you. I'm coming telling you, lose. As long as you come back and you learn and you do what you got to do to make sure it don't happen again next time, you didn't fail. That's to me. I'm saying to me. My belief is there is no failure. The day you really truly fail is when you give up on you. The day you quit and say, I don't want to try no more. I don't want to do this no more. And you keep going looking for that thing that you do successfully on the first try. We always want to get it right on that first try. But if you did get it right on the first try, then what would you learn? You wouldn't learn nothing. So instead of going back to learn of what you need to change and what you need to adjust and what you need to do differently, we just spin our wheels and spend our time just looking for those things. I'm going to try something different. I'm going to try something different. I'm going to try something different. And you never get the gratification or the satisfaction of doing it because you're steady looking for what you're going to get right. Take that thing. Take that L. Because if you learn, it ain't even really an L, to be honest. It's not even an L if you learned. The things that we use, that other people created, that other people started, we wouldn't be able to benefit from those things if somebody else didn't lose. Cell phones, we wouldn't have cell phones unless somebody got it wrong first, and then they made the necessary corrections and then did it right. You wouldn't be able to enjoy the cell phone today if somebody else didn't lose or get it wrong. Cars, we wouldn't be able to drive cars if somebody else didn't get it wrong. Flying, anything you use, anything, clothes, somebody got it wrong. Anything that was ever created or invented, somebody got wrong first. You wouldn't even be able to know how to walk right now if you didn't get it wrong first. Riding a bike. I challenge anybody in the free world, in the world to tell me they learned how to ride their bike without falling at least one time. You got it right the first time. I challenge anybody in the history of humanity to tell me that. You wouldn't know how to walk if you didn't fall at least once. And you're walking into that next situation saying out of your own self, I'm going to fall, I'm going to fall, I'm going to fail, I'm going to lose. You're supposed to if you're saying it. If you walk into a situation and you say you don't believe you're qualified, should I really hire you if you don't even believe you're qualified? I just needed to give that to somebody today, to finish out this day maybe, finish out the rest of the week, start something new, start something fresh. You've been waiting and waiting and waiting, and you never felt confident enough to pull the trigger. Hey, pull that trigger. Pull that trigger. Because I think that's a good analogy example somebody gave me a few weeks ago about a grenade. I love that analogy. I'll use that for the rest of my life. That person said, when you pull the pin out of a grenade, there is no thinking about it afterwards. And what he was trying to say was, once you start something, you damn well gonna finish that particular thing. You're gonna finish that. That's not a let me start pulling it and then let me think about it. Let me put it to the side for a while, come back to it. No, when you make the decision to start that process of pulling a grenade, you're gonna finish that. Ain't no thinking about it. And I love that because it's a full commitment to throw it. You're going to make the commitment to follow through with your decision to pull that pin out of that grenade. Pull it. Pull the grenade and throw it. Pull that pin. No, you're not a failure. You're not a failure. I need you to believe that, though. I can say that all day. I need you to believe just because you lost doesn't mean you're a failure. I don't care how many L's you take. I don't care how many L's you take. You're not a failure. Until you say, I quit. Make it an option. Don't make it an option to there's a possibility I might lose. Don't look at it as an option. It's not an option. It's not an option that you're going to win, that you're going to lose. It's not. You're going to win regardless. And it's with that mentality that you have to follow through with the necessary energy and effort and time to put in to make sure that happens. Like I said earlier with the divorce analogy, you're going to have to find a way to make it work. You got to find. Same thing with winning in anything. You got to find a way to win. Because losing is not an option. You will never, ever find a way to win as long as losing is an option. Stay blessed, family. Enjoy the rest of your day. I love you. Talk to you soon.